As always, it is so great to have you here, and I hope you're staying safe and healthy out there, but most importantly, that you're feeling fabulous at the same time. Anyways, today we've got a great recipe to kick off this weekend. We're making a creamy Spanish rice with beans and peppers. This is known in Spain as arroz meloso con alubias y pimientos. And let me tell you, this dish right here is seriously effortless to put together. It's packed with a ton of Spanish flavors, and the best part, it's all done in just 40 minutes. Folks, this is the perfect rice dish for a busy weeknight, or even for a relaxed weekend lunch next to a bottle of Spanish wine. Either way, this is the kind of food that with each spoonful, it's gonna fill your body with so much goodness. All right, let's begin by adding in 4.5 cups of vegetable broth into a saucepan. This is a little over 1 liter. You'll find a link on how to make my homemade veggie broth in the iCard above and description box below. Then we'll pinch in 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, which is 0.17 grams. You'll find a link where you can get the golden saffron I'm using for this recipe in the description box below as well. And we'll heat it with a medium heat. While the saffron is infusing with the broth, let's get the rest of the ingredients ready. I'm going to start by roughly chopping 1 medium-sized onion, cutting 8 cloves of garlic into large chunks, and 2 red bell peppers into large chunks as well. For the next step, I'm going to heat a large fry pan with a medium heat. You can also use a stock pot here if you like. And I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, which is 60 milliliters. After a couple minutes, we'll add in the chopped vegetables, and we'll mix them around. That way they're all coated in the olive oil. And since we cut the veggies into larger chunks, you don't have to mix this continuously, but do get in there every minute or so. That way everything evenly sautés. After about 5 minutes, and the vegetables are lightly sautéed, and the onion is nice and translucent, I'm going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is about 1.25 grams. And we'll give it a quick mix. That way the paprika is evenly coating all the vegetables. Then we'll add in 2 tomatoes that have been finely grated. You can substitute this for 1/2 cup of tomato sauce or even passata, which is 125 grams. And we'll season everything with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give it a mix until everything's well mixed together, and then simmer the mixture without mixing it just for a couple minutes. After about 3 minutes, and the grated tomato has slightly thickened, it's time to add in the rice. For this recipe, I'm using Spanish round rice, which is the one that's typically used to make paella. If you can't find this in your area, you can substitute it for either arborio rice or any type of short grain rice. I'm going to measure out 1 cup, which is about 200 grams, and add it into the pan. And we'll mix the rice around continuously with the rest of the ingredients just for a couple minutes. And let me tell you, by cooking the rice before adding the broth in there, it's going to make the rice nice and aromatic, which is going to give this dish a beautiful lift of flavors. After about 2 minutes, I'm going to add in a 15.5 ounce can of white beans, which is 440 grams. And I did drain the beans into a sieve beforehand and rinse them under some cold running water. And we'll also add the saffron infused vegetable broth. And we're going to cook the rice between 15 to 18 minutes or until it's just cooked through. Important to check the package instructions in the rice that you're using, that way you perfectly cook it. And you don't have to mix this continuously, but do get in there every 2 to 3 minutes, as this is going to help release the starch in the rice, which at the end is going to help thicken up that broth to give us that beautiful creamy texture. After about 15 minutes, and the rice is just cooked through, this is ready to go. I'm going to place the lid on the pan and remove it from the heat and let it sit here for a couple minutes. You know, by trapping that steam in there, it's what's going to ensure that all the grains of rice are perfectly cooked through. After about 2 to 3 minutes, we'll remove the lid, transfer some of the rice into a shallow bowl. And we'll garnish it with some fresh parsley. Check it out, creamy Spanish rice with beans and peppers. Super easy to make, filled with Spanish flavors, and the best part, all done in a little over 30 minutes. Let's give it a try and see how it turned out. Once again, folks, arroz meloso con alubias y pimientos. Look how delicious this turned out. Here we go. It's still piping hot. Look at that. It is absolutely delicious, and with that first bite, it instantly fills your body with so much goodness. The rice is beautifully cooked. So important to mix it every 2 to 3 minutes. That way that starch can get released and you get that creamy texture, and the beans and the peppers give it such a great texture. Folks, give this a try at home. Once again, next to a bottle of Spanish wine, and to make it a complete meal, a garden salad, and a crunchy baguette, you're gonna have yourself a nutritious and delicious meal. Really quick before I go, shout out to a couple of my patrons, Richard SB, Lisa Larea, Marco Steenbergen, Holly Parker, and Rogelio Jr. Rivera. And guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Leave me a comment below. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on a Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego.